welcome back to the channel. I asked ChatGPT to create a list for me of the biggest wedding photographer pet peeves. So I'm gonna be reading this list and I'm going to let you know on a scale of 1 to 10 how much of an issue this is, for me at least, as a wedding photographer. So the first one is guests with phones and tablets. The Uncle Bob syndrome, guests stepping into the aisles to get their own shot, often ruining the photographer's photos. This one is pretty annoying, I will say. On one hand, I think if a couple doesn't care about their ceremony being unplugged, I'm not going to try to police no one taking photos. But if they're getting in my way as the professional there, I'm gonna have a huge problem with it. Again, if the couple is fine with having pictures of all their guests with their cell phones up, whatever, I guess they're fine with it, right? But if they've asked for an unplugged ceremony, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 because that's completely disrespectful. One wedding I shot, the grandfather of the bride was standing behind the bride and groom during the cake cutting, and he was taking pictures on his iPhone or Android with a bunch of flash. Every single one of my photos, his phone camera flash is just going off right behind the couple. So I had to ask him a few times, very boldly, because he wasn't listening, to stop doing that, because otherwise he was going to ruin the professional pictures that they were getting of their cake cutting for a very grainy Android camera photo. So again, this is something that definitely irks me as a wedding photographer. 10 out of 10 pet peeve. The second one is poor time management. So couples not allowing enough time for photos, especially during key moments like first look or sunset portraits. I mean, yeah, I would say I run into this one sometimes. It's frustrating, but again, I think the time that the couples allot for these certain things is what they're gonna get. So if they want 5 minutes versus 30 minutes of sunset photos, they're gonna get either 5 minutes worth of sunset photos or 30 minutes worth of sunset photos. And I don't think it's really like my job to get the photos I want. It's more about what they want. So I don't really have a big problem with them not giving a lot of time for these things, as long as they're fine with not having as many photos of them. So I'm gonna give this one probably a 2 out of 10. It's a slight inconvenience, possibly, but not a big deal. Okay, number 3 is shot lists that are too long or unrealistic. So being handed a Pinterest style must-have list with hundreds of photos, maybe that don't fit the couple's venue, lighting, or timeline. Or request to copy specific poses rather than allowing the photographer creative freedom. I mean, yeah, hundreds of photos. I don't think I've ever I've maybe gotten like 1 or 2 shot lists with like hundreds of photos. Most of the time, I think people have a pretty good understanding of like, here's like 10 to 15 photos that I'd like to see similar to in my gallery. I always tell couples, I'm going to try to incorporate certain vision or certain style, but your lighting and the scenario that you're in is gonna obviously influence how the photo looks. That's the biggest determining factor, not a photo you see on Pinterest. But again, I think it's nice I like when couples give me an idea. Like, I love when my brides send me a Pinterest board, because I'm like, oh, this is great. I get to know more of what you want. It's about what they want for the day. So maybe sometimes it's unrealistic, but it's my job to communicate that to the bride, not to expect her to already know that. So honestly, I don't really agree with this one that much. I'm only gonna rank it a 1 out of 10. Share your vision with me, right? That's my job, to try to carry that out. Okay, so the next one they gave me is overbearing coordinators or family members. Family members directing shots or pushing for different angles, disrupting the photographer's process. Or coordinators or planners cutting into the photo time to stick to the schedule without consulting the photographer. Okay, well, this is kind of 2 different things, I will say. For the family members interrupting, that does get a little annoying on the wedding day. Like, I've had some like aunts or cousins or grandparents that like are trying to tell me how to do my job the whole day. It's a little bit annoying, just because you're trying to be gracious toward them, but also focus on what your couple wants. Because a lot of times they're telling you stuff that's not even what the couple wants. Like, oh, you should take all the photos from this balcony thing. And like the couple wanted these close-up shots, like things like that. I think it gets annoying if they're like repetitively doing it all day. So I would give this one a 4 out of 10. In terms of planners or coordinators cutting into the photo time, if the couple has hired them to do that, then by all means, they should be interrupting the timeline, especially because my couple is paying for different vendors that may have to be paid overtime if stuff runs late. And so it's not my job to make the photos happen outside of that timeline, as long as the couple doesn't say, no, we want more time to take these photos. Otherwise, they're gonna get what they get, and they asked for that coordinator to keep them on time. So that's their priority. Who am I to get in the way of that? So in terms of a coordinator, I'm giving that a 1 out of 10. That is not really a problem. But the family members thing can get annoying, I will say. Okay, the next one they gave me, number 5, I think, is bad or inconsistent lighting. So venues with mixed lighting, colorful LEDs or fluorescents that are hard to correct in post. Like the lighting that just changed on me because the sun went behind a cloud, but it's okay. Yeah, this can be annoying. I will say I have had a couple ceremonies where either like the DJ or the venue themselves put some kind of like colored lighting behind them in the ceremony or the reception, and it casts like a pink or blue or purple onto everyone's faces, which is so not flattering and very hard and time consuming to correct in post. So yeah, this can be really annoying. I'll give this one a 5 out of 10. If it happens, it is horrible, but most of the time it can be avoided. And now the sun is back, so let's continue. So the next one it gave me is lack of communication. So not being informed about surprises like fireworks, dances, or last minute changes. Yeah, this is really frustrating. There's been moments where I've almost missed something, or a couple asks me afterwards, like, where's the photo of this? But I never knew to be present in a certain place at that time. So maybe they had me in the bridal suite and they didn't hire a second photographer, but there was something happening in the groom suite that they never told me about. Like, that can be frustrating, but most of the time I give a thorough questionnaire, and so we plan those things out ahead of time. And I even have a question like, are there any surprises or special events that I should know about in advance? So this doesn't happen too frequently. When it does, it's more frustrating just to think of them possibly missing out on a memory because I didn't know about it. Lack of communication, yeah, definitely sucks. But again, it more makes me feel bad if I miss a key moment for them. So I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. But again, I think it can be avoided. All right, next one. This one I could write a book about. No time for food breaks. So this is in my contract that over 6 hours of working, I need to be provided with a meal or time to get a meal, which wouldn't really make sense if the couple would want me to leave for an hour just to drive somewhere to pick up food. So it's better that they're already catering food that me and my team would be included. So long days without a break or meal. Often photographers usually work 8 to 12 hours and need a short rest. Yeah, I mean, it's part of the job that I'm signing up to be on my feet for 12 hours straight, so I don't have a problem with that. But when your guests are eating, when you're eating, it's fair for me to be able to sit down because nobody wants photos of them chewing and their mouths open with food in it. So I've had a few times where I've either not received a vendor meal and I've been like starving the rest of the day, or wasn't informed about the vendor meal or offered a place to sit even after asking about it. And so therefore I missed any time frame to even do that or to sit down at all during the wedding day. This does irk me. Like, this is like, I've even had family members come up to me while I'm finally sitting down for the first time in 10 hours. And they're like, oh, why aren't you photographing anything right now? It's like, Brenda, I just sat down. Like, go eat your dinner. Like, this is my 5 minutes to put my feet up, okay? Like, it does annoy me the crap out of me. It's maybe not a 10 out of 10 because, again, I feel so privileged to have this job that I can work a really long day, but then have the rest of the week to edit in my sweatpants, right? So that's a blessing, but yeah, give me like 10 minutes to sit down and put my feet up, please. Like, I'm carrying heavy equipment all day. I'm like exhausted and sweaty. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. No food, no dinner or vendor meal that's horrible, and it should not be done. The next one they gave me, the last one, is unprepared subjects. So like messy rooms for getting ready shots, or bridesmaids, groomsmen not being dressed or ready when it's time for portraits. I think that happens to me like 50% of the time on a wedding day, which is why I tell my couples to have everybody ready earlier than when I arrive. Like, hair and makeup should be done before I get there. And a lot of times I get there and it's not done yet. Again, these things happen, things get delayed. That's definitely annoying. And it makes the first part of the day feel really rushed. So yeah, it's frustrating, and especially if nobody's thinking they want getting ready shots, but they're not preparing for getting ready shots. So I get there and there's hairspray bottles everywhere and shoes and bras on the floor, and like they want getting ready photos there. If you want getting ready photos in a certain space, leave some space for it to be clean. But again, I get it. You have like 12 girls all getting ready in the same room together. How is it not gonna turn into a mess, right? So this is mildly annoying. I feel like it comes with the job. So I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. Just a tip though, when you are telling everyone what time you need to be ready by, plan for it to be 30 minutes before they actually need the photographers to get there, or videographers. That way you have a little buffer time for the groomsmen that don't know how to do a boutonniere, or the bridesmaid that didn't like her hair and is fixing it. Like, just give a little extra time. So I hope this was interesting to you. Maybe you're a photographer and you can relate to some of these things, or maybe you're a bride and you want to try to avoid these experiences for your photographer. Whatever it is, I hope that you come back and see another video. I'm your go-to gal for all things wedding. And if you enjoyed this video, here's another one I think you'll like.